All right, everyone. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your time. We are live and direct right here, right now from Victoria in South Africa. I have with me in the studio one of our very own and one of the great women of our time. As you know, that we've been talking about it last week, Thursday, we are here with Wina and with Fatima, and unfortunately, we don't be able to connect to Andre. But today, Henry is here live and direct with me in the studio all the way from United States of America. Good morning in Africa and good morning in America. In Africa, here is afternoon time and I greet everyone in Africa. Good afternoon. Welcome to the beautiful, lovely conversation on the African Portal Radio. Andre, let me allow you to greet everyone and introduce this program to everyone listening to us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the African Portal. It's an honor, privilege, and pleasure. And for those of you who don't know, this is where I was dubbed your global voice. I'm truly excited about this. Dare and all of the staff at the African Portal has made great strides to make my mission and my dream become a reality. So without further ado, my name is Andrea Mason, your first choice, your global voice, alumna of the legendary Les Brown, and creator and founder of Press Play Plan Life According to You, LLC. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And I want to thank you because I am making great strides. If you haven't tuned in last week, we had made an official announcement that me and two other prominent women, along with the sound waves of the African Portal, are making great strides in making global impact. And what do we mean by that? We are taking the world in stride, and that we are going to create a movement that is of the movement about raising a peace ambassador. Last week, we had the pleasure of meeting with both Fatima Faibel Bel Usman, as well as Winner Agogo. These two women have been connected with me for some years now, as I was a mentor on the Mentor Her to Greatness, which empowers women and all over the world in really allowing them to speak their voice and speak their choice. So a little bit about what Raising a Peace Ambassador is. It is a proposed project that allows us, that was born out of an urgent need to address the prevalent issues and conflicts and violence, sexual and gender-based violence, as well as drug abuse in Nigeria. Yes, it may be worldwide, but if we can start with the grassroots of Africa and really bring the world together in helping them, educating women and children and young women on how to empower themselves and gain a boost of sense of self-esteem, personal hygiene knowledge, as well as bringing their passion to the forefront, as their body is their temple and their community is their family. So what we are doing is we are making global impact, and we want to arise awareness about the drug and abuse and the SGBV cases, because they are on the rise in the youth population. It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a tribe, my global tribe, of both Fabo Fatima as well as Winner Agogo, in joining me as the co-founders of this Peace Ambassador Project. We connected with the African Portal because that's where the grassroots are, and that's where the news is prominent and powerful. And so what we want to do is we want to emulate, and we want to involve you on how you can support your community, your villages, your country, your continent, and the global world, and take it by the bull of the horns and really making impact. We are looking for individuals with increased knowledge that are willing to come aboard and help us have the understanding of peace, related issues to SGVB, as well as having the knowledge to impress and infect and have the impact of the global knowledge of the drug abuse among secondary school students in Nigeria's northeast region. Dari has an amazing introduction that I'm going to turn over to him, and we will jump in on how you can contribute and more about the information. So, Dari, if you would love to introduce, we would love to, learn your impact and your insights on this, and we can connect and go forward. Okay. So, coming back to this, the reason why I got involved in such a project was because, as a mentor, to mentor her to greatness to the women all over the world of youth, as well as young up and coming business women and entrepreneurs. For those of you who don't know, I am an orphan, an adoptee from Colombia during the Colombian cartel. And I came from a war torn drug zone era at its prime. And although I was only 11 months old, weighing in at 11 pounds, I wanted to give back to the world because I was fortunate. I was blessed to be welcomed into an American home of unconditional love and unconditional support from my family. And this is the movement. This is the reason and mission behind why I am so passionate about starting to the areas and the regions of the world that don't have the resources. For those of you who don't know, I also facilitate monthly a platform, a global virtual platform of where we work with individuals, pillars, and dignitaries across the world, kings, queens, ambassadors, doctors, entrepreneurs that are making global impact, and I'm bringing them to you. Because sometimes it's difficult there. You have to jump through hoops or red tape to get to those elite affiliates who really have a passion, and I bring them directly to you. So without further ado, if able, let me know that you want to support, call into the studio, see how you can be a sponsor, see how you can be a contributor, see how you can be part of this global movement, raising a peace ambassador. Because if we started small in the village of Africa, that is widespread and make global impact, becomes a rippling effect, and we can help individuals worldwide, globally. Because let's rise and unite and not conquer nor divide. Mhm.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone that is joining. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Yes, Andre, let's break it down. I know we have about 10 questions that we need to deal with, but I don't want to go to everything. I just want you to quickly talk about the one that really concern you so that we can be able to educate people and also create awareness towards what you guys have in mind and the plan and way forward on this project.
Excellent. Yes. And for those ladies and gentlemen, if you missed the first excerpt of this that was aired, refer to that video as well, as my co-founders, Winner and Fatima, were able to really expand upon it as they have planted their feet and live in the residences of Africa to really get a close-up, one-on-one personal view of what's going on. So real briefly, we're not going to break it down into 10 because of time and mindfulness and conciseness. So our mission statement really is tapping into raising a peace ambassador where we have the ability, the knowledge, the resources to really address those conflicts and issues that are not prominent or being resolved at this time on an immediate and urgent matter of, as I mentioned, that of the conflicts of violence, of sexual and gender-based violence amongst couples, spouses, communities, family members. We're also talking about the drug abuse in Nigeria's Unity Project for the of Africa, which is also, based in the northeast and southwest regions. It has not been addressed, or we're not providing the enough resources for that of not only mental health, but medical health and emotional and spiritual health of those victims. For those of you who I know, I wrote a book about Victim to Victorious as coming from my origin of being a victim of abuse and bullying throughout my life. And so we want to give these resources, this knowledge. Another opportunity that we want to address is that based on statistics, according to a report in the United States Development Program, United Nations Development Program, pardon me, the UNDP, on the human development, it talks about, it indicates that there are, leading to breakdown in social cohesion, that there's such isolation and fear, and it increases the sexual gender-based violence within the community, and that we have a need for peace and education awareness amongst youth, especially because it's one thing to address it to the adults and the elderly, but if we can nip it in the bud early with the youth and educate them how to protect themselves, how to be mindful and aware, that is one of the key points. Back to you.
You clearly and loudly. Thank you very, very much. So now let's talk about your own personal.
Pardon me, you cut out. Pardon me.
Are you there?
Yes, I am here. It cut out for a bit. I'm unable to hear you, my friend. Looks like we lost the audible for a moment. So, yes, this is a huge impact that I am working on with individuals that may not have the resources, that may not have the funding or the sponsorships or the recognition. So, I really want to take this global, and what better place than other than the African portal? They had made great strides for individuals alike, as well as fellow speakers, fellow entrepreneurs that I've worked with, as well as really making my impact and my message and mission coming true. So, first and foremost, I want to hats off to the African portal. And also, another part of the announcement is upon our staff and our support team, our global tribe, if you will, we also have a doctor that is practicing and working on the lands of Africa all over, that is going to be involved in this project in helping communities and educations and institutions as well. Back to you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much to everyone joining us. I'm so excited. My people across the globe, thank you for joining us, Andre. I really appreciate you coming out to give us a clarity on this and also to say your side of it. But one thing I just want us to also talk about is the collaboration and what is the future hold for this project. Where do you see yourself in the next coming 5 years on this project?
Excellent question. Well, these women are powerful, and along with the production and support team of the Global Tribe of the African Portal, and as mentioned, that doctor, and I'm sure we're going to get much more support as we go along. But as far as the immediate future within the first 5 years, I really see these women putting their feet on the villages, the institutions and educations, and really supporting. For those of you who aren't aware, they are already active in other projects in Africa. So definitely connect with them. That's, again, it's Miss Winner Ogogo, pardon me, and Miss Fatima Usman. She can be found in the description notes. And I see over the next 5 years, not only is this going to be just solely Africa, but I truly see this going into the regions of Asia, Europe, Australia, and then, North and South America. This is just a tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a small region that's affected and probably, pun intended, infected. But when you think about it, as far as inequality, as well as self care, self education, as well as providing resources, that's global. So the more and more that we become proactive as opposed to inactive is when we start making great strides. And I truly believe in my digital golden Rolodex, is what I call it, is I reach out to those entities that are passionate, that are act with integrity, and that are authentic, that can really relay the message. But not only relaying the message, that's just a small piece of it. The other is to really take action. And I'm truly grateful Dr. Lawanza Malanga is going to be part of this project, which also whom I've connected with Mentor Her to Greatness. And I'm sure some of the individuals, as well as the leaders of Mentor Her to Greatness and other African entities that have connected with, this is just going to spread like wildfire. Because like I said, I have a passion for providing solutions and not adding to the problem. I have a passion about looking at the individuals at hand that are the victims and finding solutions. And that's what I'm aiming to do. So I believe over the next 5 years, not only are we going to support and help and recover and revive Africa, but it's going to go global. Back to you.
Wow, exciting. I'm so excited about this. I'm so happy that we have great women that we that we move our continent forward and also contribute immensely to the growth of the people around them. But let's talk about taking it beyond Africa, because I know this shouldn't be only for Africa. Let's look at the opportunity of the sponsorship, at which is that is your last question on the 10 bulletin, the opportunity of sponsorship. What are you guys have in mind, and what is that all about?
Yes, the sponsorship is really, like I said, you tell one person, they tell another person, but look at the way the world has been lately. I've been on several global platforms, but that was just because of networking and sponsorship. How can you contribute? If you're unable to financially contribute, what can your team do? And that's what we have to put the mindset in. Okay, maybe I don't have the financial resources because the way the world is. But if you have volunteers, if you have family members, or you know companies and institutions, it's just a matter of, hey, this is what we're doing. Our message is to raise a peace ambassador. Our mission is to impact globally men and women, men too, and youth, of being experienced and exposed to sexual and gender based violence. It's not stigmatized. It's happening all worldwide. And in certain cultures, we refrain from it because you're seen and you're not heard. And in other entities, there's such a huge gap between the funding and resources available that sometimes the victims don't even have access or resource to it. So what I see as a sponsorship, if you are watching this right now, call into the studio and see how you can contribute. What do you have available? Do you have a family or friend or someone that has been exposed and living or have experienced this? Call into the studio. Reach out to us. This is what we want, because we want real live individuals who've either been through it or observed it, and how can they contribute. And our sponsorships are, even if it's just like, share, comment, and share this out, because it is a global situation that we're dealing with. Back to you.
All right, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. Let's look at the voluntary. How are they going to get involved? The people that's going to volunteer to be part of this, how are they going to get involved?
Yes, so there's many ways that they can get involved in some of the expected outcomes, as I had mentioned, is really getting live, getting, Fatima and Winner out there in Africa, as well as the African portal, to speak to institutions, healthcare services, and corporations that can provide this. Like I said, I had mentioned Dr. Lawanza Malunga is also actively involved. And as far as that, we're looking for, regions to provide us with materials, materials that can help personal hygiene, feminine hygiene for the women. We're looking for organizations to provide have clean water, healthy refreshments for these individuals across the region so they can sustain a healthy and wellness lifestyle. Another thing is we're looking to look at venues that would be able to support us to do workshops, community workshops, as well as educations or speaking events where we can go, as well as grants, donations, and again, sponsorships. All it takes is taking this video, putting it on your website, putting it on your social media handles, and really spreading the word. There's so many different ways. And if you have something, call into the show, reach out to the African portal, or reach out to one of us, Fatima, myself, or Winner. Our social media handles will be found here as well. If you have a creative and an innovative idea, saying, you know what, Andrea, you're from the States, and this is what we really can use. Do you know some organizations? And if you are on African soil, what can you do? I have several entrepreneurs that are upcoming solopreneurs providing, clothing or refreshments or materials that can help them. It's about the awareness. How can you get involved? And there's the traditional way that helps is the financial support, the sponsorships of donations and grants and venues. So there's a myriad of different ways you can support. Back to you.
All right, thank you very, very much. Before we say goodbye out of this program, let's look at the issue of the drug abuse in our community. I know this is one of the agenda of things you guys want to deal with. So let's talk about going to other part of the world, like Asia or other part of the world. Do you have anything like that, or do you want to narrow it alone to Africa?
No, I believe it's global. You made a great point, because I believe mental health has taken over the world. It's not just this taboo topic that people aren't dealing with. I mean, if you look at the world, how it shifted in 2020, a lot has changed. A lot has been going on with, fitting in. And it's not even the traditional fitting in of having friends or being shy. It's finding that compartmentalized box that society keeps adding on what you must be or defining who you are. Like I said, what I've learned over in 2023 during my career of speaking engagements, coaching, as well as my book, Victim to Victorious. Let's look at our life and through life's adversities, create our own identity. I'm Andrea Mason. Winner is Winner Ogogo. Fatima is Fatima Usman, So let's identify of who we are as a unique and authentic individual, because if we don't, that's when we turn to drugs. It's a healing component, a self-medication, self-soothing situation to kind of numb the body and the mind so we don't have to face the problems. But what's happening is we're not, as I mentioned before, finding the solution to the problem. We're adding on different behaviors, frustration, isolation, not fitting in, confusion, if you will. And it really takes a toll on the mental health and wellness of individuals. As having over 2 decades, as well as 2 degrees in social work and psychology, this is at its prime. And a lot of people either don't want to share their thoughts because they don't want to burden their family members. They don't want to embarrass their community and society and figure out, yep, here I am, another check box. I have anxiety, depression. I want to take my life, rather than providing the solutions. Hey, you know what? My name is Andrea Mason. I've been through some serious situations, but through my trials and tribulations, I have the ability to learn how to turn them into triumphs. And so with the drug situation, it's so accessible nowadays. And then turning some of the drugs to legal status. We're not facing the problem. We're not solving the solution, solving the problem, pardon me. And so when we look at the drug area and the drug abuse, we don't want to be, some with have a pride for their culture or their own personal beings. I don't want to speak to a professional because then I'm stigmatized as having a mental health condition, or in worse terms, crazy. And then some may feel that they're so overwhelmed. They're looking at the big picture of where they're at in their life, financially unstable, emotionally unstable, spiritually are lost in the world, that they don't turn to anything but drugs. And drugs doesn't even have to be the illegal, ladies and gentlemen. It could be tobacco. It can be, alcohol. And sometimes it can even be, food consumption or caffeine. It's an addiction that we're not addressing the root cause, getting to the root cause of what is our situation, and seeking out individuals who are professional or who have been through it themselves and overcome it. Because I truly believe anything you've gone through gives you the certification and permission to help others overcome it too. Back to you. And pardon me, even in Asia, I know that I have a great audience in Asia. They are experiencing the same thing. Women staying home and not being able to financially or societally contribute to their communities. They're stay-at-home women, and they have so much passion, just like Africa. What I've learned traveling virtually across this world is that the other countries have so much passion, but the limited resources. And as America, we have to step up and have an abundance amount of resources, but regain that passion. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrea. I really appreciate your time and thank you for coming out to explain all this. And I'm so excited about this. Why? Because we already got the solution to some of the problem in our community and our society. And the good thing about it is that we have the able hands that will be able to deal with this, some of the situation and problem happening in our continent and also across the world. Before I let you go out of my way today, what is your golden advice to everyone listening to us, and what it is that you think that you need from the public? Do you need any sponsors? Do you need any support? Do you need anybody to donate or what? Things like that. I want you to use this opportunity to call on everybody to come on board to be part of this great movement, and at the same time to also contribute their own ideas into it as well.
Yes, thank you so much. This is really close to my heart. I've seen the world through a different lens now since 2020 and even before, and even recognizing my roots of being born during the cartel during Colombia and being blessed in an American family. For the public out there, let's not look at one another as different countries, different languages, different religions. Let's look at it as a family, like I said, a global tribe. What can you do to help your fellow brothers and sisters across the waters, across the borders? Businesses, if you have opportunities to sponsor us, in the medical realms, in the, food industries, shelter industries, please contact us. We are looking for so much support because we cannot do it alone. And we are not pride stricken or, kind of, putting our shoulder away, because any help is welcome and all help is welcome. And don't sit there watching this on live or playback saying, I'm just a small individual across in Asia or South America or Europe or in Australia. Everybody has a voice. Be the voice to the voiceless and provide your resources to those who have limited or no resources. Every little bit counts. And don't do it because you're helping another one and you want to give back for, good deeds for the day. Do it because this is someone's mother, father, sister, brother, aunt, grandmother. Because if we look through the world with the lens of this is our family and our humanity, that's when we're going to make great strides. I'm reminded by a New York Broadway play that was originated in France called Les Miserables. And I was taken to Broadway frequently, over the years, and I was just culturally, exposed. And although the story is very tragic, I'll never forget the ending. Spoiler alert, is To love another person is to see the face of God. Don't do it for pride. Don't do it for greed. Don't do it to say, hey, I was a part of that. Do it from the bottom of your heart. Because at one time, at one stage, at any age, we may be the people that need your support. So reach out, donate financially what you can, connect with us to see how you can get involved, even if it's from your own home. Can you spread the awareness with your companies and corporations and playing back this video as well as this live and the other one in conjunction with it? Can you reach out to us and say, hey, you know what? I wanted to help this in my town, my village, my country, my continent. Remember, follow your heart, not the herd nor the hurt, for joy, love, and happiness and success are on the other side. Together we rise and unite and not conquer and divide. So if you're an organization out there, provide your support. Even those making clothing, t-shirts to sponsor us, grants, writers, everybody is welcome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. A lot of people would like to connect with you. A lot of people would like to speak to you. A lot of people would like to know more. I just want you to dish out your contacts, probably your handles on the social media and your email if possible. All right. So please kindly let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Yes, you can find me right here at andreamasons.com. If you want to directly email us, you can do it to am.pressplay@yahoo.com. And in the subject line, just type in Raise a Peace Ambassador. We were going to be having more announcements and upcoming, steps along the way with Miss Winner and Miss Fatima, as well as Dr. Lawanza Malanga. So we are going to recruit more people. So yes, today, reach out to us and provide your creativity and innovation, because a little goes a long way. And if we had, it's one thing to have 1% from 100 people, but it's even more to have 100% from one person. So your voice, your life matters, because these are your brothers and sisters we want to help out. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the pleasure of your time, everyone. And I really appreciate you coming out, Andre, to be part of this conversation. I'm so excited about it. And to everyone joining us, thank you for joining us. Sorry that my face is not showing. We are live and direct in the studio. You just have to deal with some technical challenges that we are facing right here, right now. But please kindly share this program, be part of this great movement as we are working towards the progress in our community and our society. All right, Andre, before we call it a day, please kindly let them know the time and when we're coming back to have this conversation again.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get our feet started. We already are in the works. These ladies are working hard. That's why they're unable to be here. I apologize because I wasn't able to be here last week, but I wanted to get on and share my thoughts as well. So we will be back, I'm going to say probably in the first or second week of June with updates and really to gain more sponsors and more contributors. So as we get closer to that date, keep your eye and stay tuned on also the African platform. My handle, Andrea Mason, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, as well as andreamasons.com website for more information. If you have questions in the interim, feel free to reach out to us. And again, email me am.pressplay@yahoo.com. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your time. This is the African Portal Radio TV International. You can call us on +27703-3584 for more information. Thank you for the pleasure of your time. I really appreciate it all. All right, Andre, I hope we managed to touch one or two things. I know we're coming back second week of June for us to continue with the conversation. Have a very beautiful day. And here in South Africa is election day. We are out full force to make sure that we get some content and information about the election. South Africa decide, and that is one of the reasons why we are unable to switch on the camera, because we connect with the studio, but we are still on the street making sure that we get the information about the election that is going on in South Africa. It's election today in South Africa. If you have not cast your vote, go out, go and cast your vote. Your vote is your voice. And if you can connect with me, I can as well show you one or two things where I am right now as you are listening to me to see the situation in South Africa. If you are connecting with me, let me just give you a brief view of what is happening right here, right now in South Africa, for you to be able to see what we up to here, right now in Pretoria, South Africa. I'm right here now in South Africa. Election is going on. This is one of the central police station whereby the people are already where if you are in South Africa, you will be able to know what I'm talking about. So I'm right here at the headquarters of the police here in Pretoria, South Africa, getting the content and making sure that we put this country on the spotlight on this election day. So don't miss out. If you are not cast your vote, go and cast your vote. Remember, your vote is your voice. Go and let it count. God bless you. Thank you very much, everyone. We are right here in the street, making sure that we get the information that we put on the spotlight. And that is why I was unable to put on the camera, because I don't want the noise here to get into the conversation. Thank you, Andre, for coming out to be part of this conversation. I really appreciate it. Keep up the good work and let's continue doing the great work we are doing. I celebrate you so much. Have a beautiful day and God bless you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
It is 30 years since a new era of hope began in South Africa with the election of the African National Congress, led, of course, by Nelson Mandela. But tomorrow we'll learn whether that hope has finally expired when the country returns to the polls. The ANC has been at the forefront of South African politics since Nelson Mandela's release from prison. 4 years after his long walk to freedom, he was elected president, hailing the promise of the so-called Rainbow Nation. His party has been in power ever since. But the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, faces levels of discontent not seen by any of his predecessors. Recent polls have suggested support for the ANC at less than 50%. Rohit, who reported from South Africa for ITV News for several years, has been back to see why so many are finally turning against the party of Madiba.
In one image, the story of inequality in modern South Africa. In the distance, the skyscrapers of the richest square mile in the country. And beneath us, a township crumbling and forgotten. Its people are poor, black, and they've been failed. The shining buildings goad them from across the motorway. The electricity poles carry election posters, but rarely any power. 30 years since Nelson Mandela promised a better life for all.
There's no water at all, no water. There's no toilets, there's no water, there's no electricity, there's nothing.
Who do you blame for that?
The government.
Pamela leads us along the rows of shacks to show us her home.
8 months without water.
8 months without water?
Yes, without water.
As we approach, she feels a sense of shame.
While I'm still living on a shack, I am not going to vote.
Democracy feels draining, 30 years after it brought such exhilaration. The history of modern South Africa is written in green and yellow and black. The ANC has been in power since the birth of the Rainbow Nation. It's accused of failure and corruption, but its historic role is a powerful draw.
Honestly, better the devil you know than inviting a devil you don't know.
Dr. Mampele Rampele was pregnant with Steve Biko's child at the